right, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to just comment all of this out because I want to be able to, via code, translate or transfer, or let's see, what's the right word? Decode, uncode, I don't know what the right word is. We want to turn this into our object through JavaScript. We're going to turn this into a JSON, in other words, into this string right here. And so, let's see, why do I have I'm missing my closing here. Okay, I commented out too much. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to use something called Stringify. So I'm just going to put some code in here just for a documentation. So in our example, our game example, we're going to turn this object into a JSON string. And the way that we're going to do that is with something called Stringify. So let me just do it so the word doesn't sound like, what word is it you saying? So here we go. I'm going to make a let JSON string equal, so I'm creating a variable, obviously, equal, and the key that we need to put into our toolkit now is capital JSON dot stringify. It's a method, and we're going to put in our object. So let's see, if we put my cursor over Stringify, and you can read that, I know it's kind of jumbled, but it ends up saying converts a JavaScript value to a JavaScript object notation, to a JSON string. So we're going to convert via code our object into a JSON string. And so that's the command to do it. Let's just try it and see if it does it. So let's console log JSON string and see what we get. So we can see that this is our new code, and sure enough, there's our JSON string. And remember, it looks like an object at first, right, because of the curly braces. But if we do the same thing we've done before, where I'll do a console log and I'll say type of, and then I'll put JSON string in there, I just want to verify that it is in fact a string and not an object. So now I've successfully converted my JavaScript object into a JSON string. And then you might ask yourself, well, why would you want to do that? Well, I'll show you a reason or an example of why you would. So I'm going to go to W3 Schools, and I'm going to type in window object. We've been here before, and let's see if I can find it. There we go, window object. And we've been here before, and we've noticed that Windows has objects and properties, and one of the one we're going to play with now is called local storage. And it's not entirely clear that this is an object, but I'm going to read this real quick. It says, allows us to save key value pairs in a web browser. Stores the data with no expiration date. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and demonstrate that it is in fact an object, and it allows us to save key value pairs in the browser, and data is not deleted when the browser is closed and is available for future sessions. So this is a way for us to store data that we might want to, like maybe a user's name or what level they were on when they were playing a game or whatever else. We're now working with persistent data. And you might think that this is a cookie, but this is not in fact a cookie. It's local storage, and they're not the same. And it's kind of out of scope to explain it here. But all we're doing right now in local storage is storing some key value pairs in our browser for later use. And let me see if I can show you what I mean. So there's several different methods that are useful. Set item, and it needs a key and a value. And that's the one we're going to use first. So I'm going to keep this concept in mind, and I'm going to go ahead and use that to set an item. So what does that mean? Here we go. So I'm going to take what it says there, local storage dot set item, and I'm just going to call it, we'll call it my game. And then that's the key, which I'll explain in a minute, and the value is what you want to store. And it always has to be a string. In our case, because I'm working with JSON, I'm going to store my whole JSON string in here. You can store something simple like a person's name. But just for demonstration and conversation in our learning opportunity here, the string I'm going to store is a JSON string, is the JSON string that we created from our JavaScript object. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to run my code, and you'll say, well, did anything happen? And I'll say, I don't know, let's see. So I'm in Firefox, and I'm going to go to storage. If you are in Chrome, you're going to want to go to applications. I'll do that afterwards. So storage, and then once you get storage, let me close out my console here, you should see something like this. And I'm going to click on local storage, and I'm going to click on file here. And there is the key, and there's the thing I stored. And the point of this is, so I have my game, and I have the string that we stored. And the point of it is that if I close out this tab, normally we've lost that data. But now what I can do is I'm going to reopen that tab, and I'm going to go to storage and local storage. And you're going to see that it's persisted. That data is persisted across your session. So if you close out the browser, you'll still have the ability to pull that information out of the browser. I'm in Chrome now, and if you're a Chrome user, then you're going to right-click on Inspect, and this time you're going to go to Application. So on Application is where you're going to see your local storage. So in here is where I will see my key value pairs. There's my key, and there's the value. So a little bit different in Chrome, but and eventually it ends up the same way, that our browser is storing information. And I'll do the same thing just for copy this. Just for visual, I'm going to close out that browser. I'm going to open in a new window, open up that file again, and let's see if that information persisted. Application, local file, and there's that information.